back to my channel and what's today? Wednesday upload. I let you guys know in last video a couple of days ago that I was gonna be uploading multiple times per week. So okay, it's pouring down rain in Los Angeles, so what a perfect day to make holiday ornaments. But I pretty much just went into Michael's and walked around for about 2 hours down every aisle and just found some stuff that I kind of liked, that I thought I could also use stuff that I already have in my DIY room and just kind of like make some cute, crafty little ornaments. Kinsley! And if you guys don't already follow me on Instagram, I post a lot of like more behind the scenes stuff or my life or things like that, and then behind the scenes of like my DIY projects and what I'm working on. So if you want any sneak peeks, definitely follow me on Instagram at MaCenna. I'll put it on the screen for you. And if you're not already subscribed to our family, definitely hit that subscribe button. If you are new to my channel, I post new home decor and DIY videos every week, normally Sunday, but a lot more for the holidays this month. So let's make some ornaments. Okay. So the first ornaments that we're going to be making are some DIY felt trees. So I have some sheets of different colored felt, some small wooden beads, a little bit of extra yarn to make a holder, and some scissors. I'm going to start with one piece of felt, and I'm going to cut a strip along the long side, so the 12-inch side, 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to cut some of the twine or string 18 inches long. At the end of the twine, I'm just gonna put a piece of tape to make it stronger, because I'm gonna have to put this through some of the wooden beads and it's not strong enough on its own. So I'm just gonna roll a piece of tape right on the end and it makes it a lot stronger. First, stringing on one small bead, I'm gonna make a loop and go back through that same bead in order to make the little holder to go onto the tree. And then just tie a double knot to keep it secured. Next, I'm going to use a yarn needle. We're going to be sewing on the felt in kind of a squiggly motion. So starting right at the end, I'm just going to put the needle right through the end of the felt and push it all the way up to the wooden bead. And then each of these little squiggly motions of the felt are going to be separated by another wooden bead. So just skipping over a little bit of the felt, I'm just going to put it back through. Each time you sew a piece of felt on, it's going to be a little further apart, making the squiggly a little bigger and bigger, and you'll notice this more visually than you will by me telling you. It'll all start to make sense when you see it. This part will be your largest in the bottom of your tree. So once you get that sewn down, we're just gonna go back through the end of the felt again and pull it tight up to the last piece of felt. And then finish it off with another wooden bead, tying a double knot to finish it off, and you're all done. Next, we're going to be making painted tassels, and this is more of a bohemian style type of ornament. We're going to be using these wooden octagonal, or I don't even know what shape this is, beads, some macrame, and then whatever color acrylic paints that you like. Also, I'm going to be trying to stain some of these wooden beads in my special walnut stain that you guys know that I love. I just wanted to see if it was possible, if they would look a little more antiqued and a little more special, and they actually turned out pretty good. So if you have some stain lying around, you should definitely try and stain some of your wooden beads. Next, I'm going to be taking some macrame and wrapping it around my fingers 8 times. This is going to be creating the tassel. Next, using that same twine and a needle, we're going to create that loop at the top of the ornament again, going in and looping up and then back through the bead and then tying a double knot.
Now that you have that finished, we're going to tie on the macrame that's going to make our tassel with a double knot, and then just cut all of the loops right at the bottom. Next, you're going to want to cut all of the macrame strands to perfect length at the bottom so that it's straight. I made another one and I'm going to show you a different style on how to make these. I'm just going to use Kinsley's dog brush and brush out starting at the bottom so that it kind of creates this frayed and fringed look. Next, I'm going to take some acrylic paints and a sponge brush and lightly dry brush the tassels so that they have some color, making sure that they don't stick. Just keep picking them up and painting more and more parts and sections. It will dry a little bit stiff, why it's important to just keep moving them around so that it doesn't really stick in any weird ways. Next, we're going to be making some ornaments out of clay, and this one we're going to be making antlers. So what you're going to need is parchment paper, some Sculpey clay, and some few embellishments. First, I'm going to take some clay and roll it out so that I get a 1/4 inch long string. Next, I'm going to make it kind of pointy on the edges, like the end of an antler. And this is about a 3.5 inch strand. And then I'm just gonna keep making these little pieces of the antler and kind of molding the antler into what I want it to look like. I looked at a lot of different pictures online to try and figure out exactly how I wanted to do the antlers. So just reference a picture and just kind of mold it until you get it perfect. Next, you're gonna put it in the oven at 275 for 15 minutes. After it's done, you'll see that it's very hard now, but still delicate. I was very delicate with it. And I'm gonna add some of that twine just for the loop to put it on the tree. You can use a red nose for Rudolph or a brown nose like I did for the rest of the reindeer. I wanted them to feel special too. And while I have my clay still out, I wanted to make a circular piece of clay, kind of like a flat ornament almost. So I rolled out my clay and I found this lid to a jar of DIY supplies that will make the perfect circle. So I'm just gonna press that down onto the clay and it's gonna cut it out. Next, you can clean up any of the edges. You can see that mine wasn't perfect. And then I used an awl, or you can use an ice pick, to make the hole so that I could actually put it onto the tree. Next, you're gonna bake it at 275 for 15 minutes. And then I'm gonna add in a little bit of string to put it onto the tree. And my first idea was to write Mary on it, and I totally messed up and I was super upset about it. So I just painted it all white and then moved on. So I painted the whole thing white and then went back in and made a little bit of a holly design out of acrylic paint, just using like a feathering brush, like a little bitty tiny thin brush to make those little like leaf designs. And then I just made this little cute tassel out of yarn that I had in my DIY studio to make it extra special, and I put this at the top. Okay, so this ornament I was very excited about. I am attempting to make Kinsley's face. So I'm using felt that looks like her color hair, and then a little bit of stuffing and some embroidery thread in her colors. I started by just sketching out generally what the shape of her head looked like, and then I folded it over so that I could cut it out. So I needed two sides, the front and the back obviously, so I just folded it over, so I only had to cut once. Next, I'm going to take a needle and the embroidery thread and stitch just with my hand around the entire perimeter up to the top. I left a little bit of space at the top because I want to put in the stuffing, and then we can sew that up afterwards. I also went back with a pencil to just make sure that I could get all the stuffing in the right places. Next, I'm going to make the details on her face, so her eyes, her nose, and her mouth. And this I just kind of went for. There wasn't any real like method. I was just like, okay, I think her eyes go here and her nose is a little bigger and it goes here, and then she has a little bit of this, and I kept looking at her to kind of make the design. So it kind of looks like a teddy bear too, so you guys could make this, but Kinsley obviously looks like a teddy bear, so it's cute. And then I just sewed in a string at the top to hang it on the tree. She's so cute! So for the next ornament, I found these really pretty pom-poms. They were obviously more like fall colors, but I still loved them at Michael's. And I'm just gonna make a tasseled looking ornament hanging straight down. So I'm pairing them with some wooden beads, and I just kind of laid out exactly how I wanted it to be sewed on. And then taking some corresponding embroidery thread, I'm just gonna create that first loop at the top so that we could put it on the tree. And then double knotting it so that it stays in place. And then I'm putting both of those strands back through the needle because we're gonna be needing both of those strands at the bottom later. So I'm just gonna string on all of my different elements that I want. And then at the bottom, I'm going to put a tassel. So using my 4 fingers, I'm gonna wrap it around 20 times. And then sliding it right onto those 2 embroidery threads that we had from our main part of our ornament, tying a double knot so that it attaches to that whole part. Cutting all of the loops at the bottom, and then I'm just cutting another small piece of this embroidery thread about 4 inches so that I can kind of create the head of the tassel itself. So just tying it right up to the bottom of that last little ball and then cutting it straight at the bottom. And for our last ornament, I'm gonna make like a little snowy house with some lights in it. So I started by sketching out the house and measuring out each of the 4 sides of the house. So I wanted my house to be 3 inches wide by 4 inches tall. And obviously there's 4 sides. And then I needed a little bit, about a 1/2 inch on one side bigger so that I could glue it all together. You could probably find an easy template online as well, or if you like to measure and draw, you can too. I drew the roof up 3 inches as well, and then drew little windows so that I could cut them out so that you could see the lights inside once we put those in. Next, I just cut it all out and then cut out my little windows with an X-Acto knife. And then used my awl or an ice pick to make a hole in each of the 4 sides of the roof. And then I used this ruler to make a straight crease on each of the parts that are going to be folded. And then you just fold it up, and I'm going to glue it down with just some Elmer's stick glue. Using some twine, I'm going to bind each of those 4 corners of the roof together. This is going to be how it hangs on the tree as well. Next, I'm going to go in with this snow text stuff. Just makes anything that you have look a little snowy. So I put some snow on the bottom and then underneath the windows and then a little bit on the roof. Next I cut out a piece for the bottom, which is 3 inches square with little flaps so that I could glue it together. But right before I glued in the bottom, I just put in some of these LED string lights that I can turn on and off, and then it can snuggle into the tree and you won't even see it.
We hope you guys, she's just gonna sit like this. We hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we hope you guys are gonna try out some of these ornaments, and if you do, always tag me on Instagram so that I can check them out and see what you guys made and how you made them even better than I did. You guys are so talented. Right, Kinsley? And if you guys like this video, definitely hit the like button below, subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and hit the little bell icon so you know when we upload, because they're more, thank you. Is there more often this month? Okay, we'll see you guys in a couple of days. Bye, guys. Say bye. 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 This is you. Oh, she doesn't like it. This is you. Do you